Chat, what's up? Fix up my. Got some light in the room. We back live. Got my soundboard. Shoot. DSF, what's up, man? How am I doing so far? I think I'm going. I think I'm doing decent. So I got to 936 contest rating. I'm slowly moving up. So so when it comes to here, I'm almost hitting 1,000. But I've only done 3 contests so far, so it's slowly getting up there. But I think it's just a grind. Obviously, it's gonna take a while. Have you done Codeforces before? So basically, in short, I think it's trending in the right direction. I hit a couple roadblocks with things like bit manipulation. I need to relearn some of the math concepts, but other than that, I feel like we're making progress. Oh, my hair. There's a... Yes, sir. Google interview. Oh wait, what the heck? Tweaked. It always does that when you try to switch. All right, it's waiting for me to join. Let's see if the guy shows up. I hope he shows up.
Okay. Yeah, so we did the intros, so you can just don't share the Google Meet, so it's like anonymous, and you can just mute yourself if that's cool.
What's up? What's up?
Hey. Hello. And I'll post the coder pad again just in case you can't access. But yeah.
Do I have to create an account?
You might have to, but it's free, so.
Okay.
So did you already talk about where he's interviewing and stuff? Where's that?
I will do that.
Nice. All right.
I just want to make it like anonymous, so. Okay. Okay. So I think let me start recording this thing on my end. And then yeah, basically, so what we'll do is we'll do 50 minutes, 2 questions. You're not gonna run your code. I think you're not allowed to, so build thing. Okay, let me do this. Oh yeah, James, you probably can't see my notes, so you can just talk about like whatever, I guess. Because I don't think I can make it so you can view my notes.
Yeah, it's all good. I might just make my notes on my end too.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, we get to see like what your opinion is. Okay. All right. So yeah, so we can get started here. So can you do a 1-minute intro about like who you are and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is James. I'm currently preparing for an interview I have in approximately 2 weeks. I recently graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison as a computer science and math student, and I graduated in August 2025, and I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Great.
Respect.
All right. So I'm going to give you not the exact problem, but I will give you like some information, and then you can feel free to ask anything you want.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, and then our end time will be 3:55. So you can just watch your own time there. So 50 minutes for 2 problems. Okay.
Okay.
So in the first one, you're given a tree of nodes with, so you're going to be given like an integer n. So basically n
Okay.
nodes. And you're also given a list of edges. And these edges are basically just like our edges for the tree. So as an example, I can paste one.
Yo, chat, how do you think he's gonna do?
And you're also given a array of booleans. So let me just give you an example like this.
Okay.
Basically here you have 7 nodes, you have all of these edges, and then because there's 7 nodes, you have this like has apple thing. And what I want you to do is the tree is rooted at 0, and you can travel back and forth. So these edges are like undirected. And I want you to tell me the distance it takes to collect all apples in the tree.
Yo, what's up, bro?
And come back to the root.
Y'all can hear me, right?
So what this will actually look like this particular example, is it will look like this.
I'll lower their volume.
If you just connect all the edges, and it's like this. Okay, so this is what the tree looks like. And then the nodes that have an apple are this one. So maybe I'll just mark it with like a star. This one. And this one.
Man, this is rough. We're really gonna use Java.
And the answer here should be 8, because like one valid path is you could start at the 0, you can go to the 1, then you go, or I'll just write it like this: so 0, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 0, 2, 0. This would like get all the apples and come back to the root, and we traversed 8 edges total.
Ooh, I like this.
And feel free to ask me anything you want to ask.
I like this question.
Yeah. Could I really quickly write some notes down for myself? Right here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the first question I have. All right. Let me restate the questions just to make sure I understand.
Mhm.
We have a tree.
What's TST?
Is it a binary tree, or can it have more than 2?
Like so it can have I guess in this case, let me actually see. I don't think it's a binary tree. I think it can have more, but it's just like a valid tree. But it shouldn't really matter.
This
for
isn't
So
a TSP
any
question.
valid tree, a undirected, and because it's a tree, there's also no cycles, right? So just
That's right. Yes.
just a tree, undirected. Many more than like, so there's many edges from a certain node, I guess, like not just 2. And then, am I looking for the minimum distance it takes to collect every apple, or
Yes.
every apple minimum distance? Okay, I also noticed in your example that you said 0, 1 to 4. Do I need to consider going from 4 back to 1? Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so in this case you would come back, right? So you go 0, 1, 4 back to 1 to 5. So you wouldn't go from 0 to all of them. You'd find like the shortest path. So here, for example, yeah, it's 0, 1 to 4 back to 1 to 5. You don't want to go like 0, 1, 4 all the way back and then 0, 1, 5 all the way back. So if nodes are next to each other, you'd want to just like collect them quicker.
Wait, why were y'all talking about traveling
I'm gonna
salesman?
add on top of your demo, and list out every single step just to make it a little bit easier for me to understand.
Sure.
So it would look something like this, right? 0, 1 to 4, 4 to 1, 1 to 5, and then 5 back to 1, 1 back to 0, 0 to 2, 0 to 2, and then the return to the root, so 2 to 0. So the answer would be, I would be returning 8 here.
Yes.
Okay. So, oh, sorry, and edges is a 2D array, right?
Yes.
So I'm just basically given every edge. Okay. So, the first thing I think of when I see this
I
question
like this question.
is it's very similar to a graph question, and I'm probably going to be making an adjacency list, and I will have a root set at 0. So I guess I'll make the class first. So, I'm
So
I'm returning an integer.
before you code anything, can you just
Oh,
walk
okay.
through what this is gonna look
Oh
like?
man
Yeah, yeah.
went into coding right away.
So
We're watching Alpha
I'll
run a
start at the
mock
root
interview.
node,
Mm-hmm.
and the first thing I'll do is make an adjacency list. So,
What's your solution though?
I'll make a array list of size n, and then for every index in this array list, I'll have another array list. I actually wrote this down. So, adjacency list, and then list for every node, and
He's interviewing
that
for Google.
contains all places it would go to.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
I'm not given how many apples there are, right?
No, you're just given an array of booleans so you can count.
Okay. So I'm also given. Okay. So what I'm thinking about right now is I could also loop through has apple, which I'm given, right? A 1D array.
Mhm.
Count how many truths there are. So I'll know how many apples there are. Know like how many apples at the beginning by just looping through has apple. And then later on, every time I run into a node with an apple, decrease total count until zero, until we reach zero.
Okay.
But okay, and I have to return to the end node anyways.
Yeah, you have to return to the root. So the root is always 0,
Right.
and you have to return to the root.
Right. I have to return to the root anyways. And
Chat, what do you think? He's gonna fold?
so I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get this
Um,
one. It's not trending good.
I feel like it could also be kind of like a sub problem because if I start at 1, I would be able to reach both 4 and 5, and then I just add on the distance it takes to get to 1 from 0. And then I could like do that for like I could break up the 0 in your example into like the recursively kind of the same problem, just from 1 and 2.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll write this down. This is just these are just thoughts, I guess. So recursively, go to 1 and 2. And then add on the distances. And I need a tracker.
Spamming it. No, I didn't
I
set
need
it
a
up
tracker
properly.
to
I'm
keep
gonna
track
set
of
it up
how many
soon.
apples I've run into. Because that will. Oh,
We
but
start at the 0.
when I split up into smaller trees, I won't be able to know like what the total count is. So I don't know if I should like I wouldn't know if I would have to go deeper or not go deeper. So when I'm at for example of this
What's up, man?
case, you go to 1. There's still apples down here. So you have to keep going. And then there's an apple at 4 and an apple at 5. So like yeah, just go to 4, go to 5.
Might be easier to just whiteboard this, not gonna lie. Chat, how do you think he's doing so
you have
far?
to return. Okay. Is there any other way we could solve this problem without using recursion?
I don't know. I think he's folding, bro.
So you're saying basically the problem with recursion is you need to know how many apples everything has, and you don't know
Right.
that?
Right. I guess the struggle I have right now is I'm not sure. Like for example, at 2, there's no point in going to 3 or 6 because it's only going to increase the distance, but we're looking for the minimum, right? And
Mhm.
3 or 6 both don't have apples. So in this case, we wouldn't even bother like traversing to 3 or 6. Um,
Yeah.
and right, but I'm
Do I lit?
thinking about a way where I can avoid like 3 or 6. But like for example, if 3 had an apple below that one, then I would still have to go through 3. So I'm trying to figure out um when I can kind of like turn around. You know, like once I hit 2, I turn around. But if there's an apple below 3, then I can't turn around. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
so first let me ask you one thing. Like I understand you're trying to like short circuit, but let's say you did traverse every node. Would that make the algorithm slower?
Alpha with the hints.
mm,
I don't know if I'd give that was a big
not
hint right there.
not really. Um,
Not really. And so your
as
main
in
problem
like
is like
the time
as
co-
in
yeah
like big O.
yeah time complexity would still remain the same.
Right, but you're basically trying not to go down because you're trying not to add it to your path, right? So is
Right.
there any way we can like check for things and then if there's nothing there, we just
Yeah,
don't add
he's
it to the
interviewing for
path?
Google full time.
Hmm.
Because we can't know if there's stuff down there without checking or pre-computing
True.
something.
True. True. So I guess we only add. I guess we could recursively return an integer, and like for example, if there's no apple, we just return like a 0, and then if there is an apple, we might have to return like 1 or 2, depending on the path, right? Maybe 2 because you have to go down and back up, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, 1, 2, yeah. Um,
Notepads
let
up.
me double check and make sure that this recursive idea is the best one. Like possibly I could do BFS or even like DFS. I
Well,
guess I'm still
DFS
doing
is
it.
recursive, right?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'm still doing it recursively.
Mhm.
But I guess just like yeah, I guess I'm doing it like using BFS and recursion. But let's see if I could do it using BFS. Uh,
Sure.
or like if it's easier, I guess is probably possible. Um, I could. Okay, every new node I would like 0, 0. I always put into the queue. I go 1 to 2. And there is an apple. Uh, I would still have to go to 1 though. So like 1. So like add 1 to the queue still. Also add 2 to the queue. And then can I attach like another number to like a node or a path? Okay, so like I would have to add like 1 or 2, and then I run into 4, and 4 has no children, but 4 has an apple. If it has an apple, I would add to the. If it has an
Where's this guy
apple,
at?
I would add to the sum. Um, but if it doesn't have an apple,
Q1
I
started
don't add
coding
to the
right away.
sum. I keep track of the path. Okay.
Or
Okay.
I
I'm
guess he didn't
gonna
really because he's
maybe
taking a while.
I like doing BFS more, so I'm gonna
BFS.
try my BFS solution. So here's my BFS solution.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add to a queue. So like obviously start with 0 because 0 is a root.
Why BFS though?
And then from the adjacency list, I take 1 and 2. I also add those to a queue.
Are you writing anything
And
by the way, or am I just?
oh no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah,
So
maybe can you write like what you're thinking?
yeah,
Because I
sure,
can't keep
sure.
track of it all in my head.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll add like I'll start with the root node to queue, right? And then using the adjacency list, um visit unvisited nodes.
Okay. Yeah.
And if there's an apple, if there is apple, I'll also like track. I'll track the node. So it's like I'm using like an array of size 2, and I'll track like path
Song,
distance
I don't even know. Maybe I can try
and
interviewing whenever I want.
like along with the node.
Okay. Path
Right.
distance to the root.
Path distance, yeah, from the root.
Okay.
Path from root, along with the node. Okay, now if there is, this is the part I still haven't like quite figured it out in my head. So if there is an apple, do I immediately add this to the sum, or do I not immediately add this to the sum? So if there's an apple, right, like for example 1, there's no apple, so like I would be increasing path step by 1, and then I put like something like 1 back into the queue. Now when I reach 4,
I don't know if
there
this
is
is
an
good
apple,
with a BFS.
and I'm returning 2 here. Now, so okay, this gets a little like difficult because I would guess my node would look something like this.
Yeah, if you
But my
pass,
5
if I do a
node,
text screen and I pass
my
somebody
5 node would also look like this.
like if I do a text screen and I pass somebody to the next stage and they're not good and they do trash in the interviews in the onsite, I wasted people's time and money. So yeah, you get trouble. You don't really get in trouble, but it just looks bad. You just pass somebody who just can't even pass any of the interviews in the later rounds. Then they're wondering why you passed them. It makes you look bad a little bit.
But then we're recounting the same path.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll just try doing a DFS solution. So recursively. Recursively. So here's my recursive plan. I'll go back to doing recursion, I guess. My plan is to break problems into like a sub problem. So the problem itself is it kind of like looks the same for depending on where you set the root, right? So for example, the problem is the same at 1 as it is at 0, except we're just adding the distance from 1 to 0.
Okay.
And then it's also, I guess the answer to 0 is like the same as 1 plus 2 plus the distance from 0 to 1, 0 to 2, right? So we break down problems into like the same as the subtree and add distances or apples. And then if no apple, no distance. And then I should just be able to return and then add 1. Okay, so I guess let me figure out my base case, right? If
Yo, chat, what are y'all
node
thinking? I should probably
is
put them on headphones. There's probably like echo.
I just assume like if node is null. I could maybe change this later, but
Oh yeah,
let's
echo.
assume, okay, node is null.
All right, that's
We're
way better.
returning 0.
Okay.
So yeah, and then if the node isn't null, so let's just say it's like right now
Google only asked one
hypothetically
question.
it's like 4. It's
Nah,
the leaf node.
I don't know. They wouldn't ask something like this then. Is this too
have
easy or
a
no?
path. We have to keep track. We have to keep track of a path sum, and a total sum. If there's an apple, then we have to add path sum to the total sum. So total sum plus equals path sum, right? Because this makes sense, right? Because we eventually have to somehow walk to a specific node. Now, if there's no apple, then we don't have to add yet, but we have to consider the future. So then
Definitely Alpha's gonna ask 2 questions. That's just how he runs his interviews. Especially when we're doing practice. We should ask 1 to 2 questions.
consider doing. We just basically recursive.
It would be
So,
boring to sit here for
I'll just call my
one whole
helper
hour
function
on one
DFS, right?
question.
Then it'll just be like root dot left or root DFS on every smaller root.
Okay, so
Basically.
is your total sum the thing you're returning?
Yeah. So I'll like return. I'll set total sum to plus equal. Okay, yeah. There's a small like something wrong with my logic a little bit. So total sum, we add the DFS of every smaller root. But then like we don't have to add the current path, right? So if there's like an apple at like in this example at 1 and 4, we don't want to add them both,
Mhm.
right? So we only want to add this 4. So maybe we'll add the maximum path that we've seen.
Chat, what are we
So
thinking
the
so
path,
far?
like, yeah. So originally I was thinking we would reset like the path to 0 every time we ran into an apple, and then add like that, which honestly I think might work.
So if you take a look at this example that I have, if you reset the path to 0 every time
I'm
you
not
run into
sure.
an
I don't think
apple,
it's like
like this going to 4 would give you a 2 and 2, which is like 4, right? 2 down, 2 back, and then 5 also
I
gives
don't
you
think
2
it's
and
a
2.
known
So are you
school
going to handle
or
that
like a
case where
low-key school.
like here it wouldn't be 2 and 2, like, so we don't want to go from like 0 to 4 back to 0, then to 5 back to 0. So how does our DFS handle that?
Yeah, we can run it through really quickly actually. So for example, we start at 0, whatever. We reach node 1, and at this point our path is 1, right?
Mhm.
Because we increase path, which is like something we'll do always. Okay, so now we have both 4 and 5. So ideally we want 1 to return 4.
Mhm. We want 1 to return 4. Well, it depends how you do it, but like 4
Yeah.
or
It's either
6 or
okay,
something.
2. It's either 2 or 4, right? Or 2 or 4.
So from 0 to all of these and back is 6.
Yeah. But yeah, I do want 1 to return either 2 or 4, because
Okay.
when I'm at 0, I'll be returning the answer of 1 plus
Might
1
be easier
and the
to
answer of
actually
2
just use the
plus 1,
whiteboard on this
right?
and on a
Okay,
smaller
sure.
example.
So at 1 I want to return like 2 or 4. But anyways, the path at 1 here is already 1. And then
Yeah, this is
1
this is
can
on the
go
of the
here,
Peralta 75.
1 can go here. Okay. So it would definitely be like BFS. I'm just gonna call it root dot left and root dot right for now, even though I know it's like not a binary tree.
Sure.
Just so we know like
I'll send you
where
all the
we're going,
question.
right? So it's gonna be something along the answer to, it'll probably be something like this: return this plus 1, this plus 1. Okay, but it can't be null. If it's null, I could return like negative.
Because we also need
I
to
can
keep
return like
track
negative 1
of
or something.
like the intermediate ones that don't
I don't
have
know if that'll work.
apple, but they
Maybe
have
it'll work,
apples under it.
whatever. So yeah, something along the lines of this. We return the distance it gets to 4 plus 1, and the distance it gets to 5 plus 1. Now, the issue is if 4 doesn't have an apple, we don't want to be adding this 1. Okay, but let's just assume right now, for now, 4 has an apple.
Learn Java
We reach
fast.
DFS into
Work on
here,
projects, I would say.
and
Read the document. You working on
for
projects
itself
is the fastest way to learn any
for itself
language.
is returning 0.
Exactly. Just keep coding. Keep coding.
But it's returning true. So if it's null or no apple, return -1. Otherwise, if there's an apple, if apple
He's making a comeback.
Can we return like
You're
root
struggling with the oop.
dot left? This would end up being like null here at 4.
Are you in
so we'd
school
still
or you're self-teaching
so
yourself?
we'd like return root dot left and root dot right. Okay, our base case might have to be -1. But so this will return -1. The other one will also return -1. But we also like +1 both of them. So they return -1, and then we +1 them, so it cancels out to 0. So at 4, we would be returning 0. Now, if 4 didn't have an apple, we would simply return
Like what oop concepts are you
-1,
struggling
right?
with?
Because no. Oh wait, no, what?
So we're at we only have 25 minutes left, so we can keep going with this one, or we could do another problem, whatever you prefer.
Let's move on
Let's
to
keep
the next
going
one.
with this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh no, we should push on to the next one just to see.
so there is an apple. So what would we return? Root dot left +1. There's an apple. Calling left and right would return both 0. And then 0 is fine because we can just multiply by 2. Now if 4 doesn't have an apple, we still have to keep going. We can't not keep going. Maybe my base case has to be left and right, or no. So okay, new base case, I guess. New base case is left and right, or no. Okay, I think I have a rough idea on how I would code this. Is it okay if I start coding?
Sure. Yeah.
Just for like the sake of time. And I think having some code written down would also help me be able to kind of see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So we just kind of count
Been about 30.
And we're given int n edges.
Like the only reason I'm suggesting use a whiteboard is because it's hard for him to visualize it, especially like this.
Is apple there? Is apple.
And then
how Boolean.
Trust me, if I whiteboarded this, it
would
be
does this input
so
look
much
right?
easier to see.
Yes.
I'll show how to solve this question right after this.
So we'll first make our adjacency list. So
he's using Java too. Maybe slow implementation.
Making the adjacency list, I'll just loop through every edge. So okay, yeah, for the edges, it's first where you go, or first where you start to where you go to. Actually, it doesn't really matter because because I'll be adding it backwards. Do I need to add it backwards? Maybe I don't need to add it backwards. Actually, I'm gonna go with not adding it backwards for now because I'm multiplying by 2, and there's no point in So like 0 would go to 1, 0 would go to 2. I don't really want 1 to have 0 anyways, so this is fine.
I don't know. Does that work with this question? Are we guaranteed that? Does it just tell you the edge? Are we guaranteed that the edges are pointing in the right
my
direction?
adjacency list
points downwards in the tree.
This is gonna be helpful for me when I run DFS later on. Still returning an integer. We'll call this DFS.
Okay.
We can have n. Why not? But this time we're gonna use our adjacency list instead of like the edges that are offered. Obviously, because we would like to know all the possible edges we can go to from one node, and edges doesn't offer that to us. And then we also have like the Boolean array of is apple, so we can check at any moment if the certain place has an apple. All right, so I think I agreed earlier on. My edge case would be if left and right are both null. Oh, I need to consider the root. Int root. Okay, root is just like the current node we're at. It's not like the universal root.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So now if root, oh, wait, I can't do root dot left and root dot right.
No, you have an adjacency list.
Yeah, I have an adjacency list.
Did he clarify any
Okay.
questions?
Wait. Oh, what? So if the adjacency list is empty, then we're fine. Okay. So adjacency list dot size, right? If it's empty, like for example, let me double check. Like 4 does not have a start position. Yeah. Okay. So if adjacency list dot size is 0. All right. So then this is our edge case. It's either returning like 0 or -1. Not quite sure what it is. I think it's 0 because I'm no longer checking for all the nulls. Let me double check I have everything here. I think I'm able to just return my DFS because I have like a bunch of sub problems. So as
Okay.
long as I get my adjacency list done, like where I said earlier, right? A sub problem is like the same as the answer to the bigger problem.
Yep.
So I think this is fine. We
Okay.
just do 0 because we're given that 0
Yeah,
is a
Paul.
root.
Mhm.
But we could also find
He's
it just
currently
using like
fried, but we'll
integrity.
see.
But yeah. Anyways, so this looks right.
It's already been 34 minutes.
My input looks right.
Yeah, I think it'll just error because
oh,
they're not in
I
a
don't know.
class, but that
Yeah.
doesn't
We're gonna hit
matter.
him with a good
You don't need to
question
run
right
it,
after.
Yeah. I just call it edges. Okay. Looks good to me for now.
Yo,
Okay,
yeah,
this is
bro.
like I guess the harder part. Um
Mhm.
So the adjacent if the size is 0, I'm gonna copy this down here. It'll like help me a little bit, I think, while I look.
Okay.
Yo, one of my solutions bounced after the contest, so
Okay. So if there's nothing, so for 4 we're returning 0. That's fine. Now at 1, we want to return.
what's going on here?
We want to return. Okay, we need a for loop. We need a loop through every single. Yeah, we need to loop through every single one. We can like. Oh, I was talking about having a path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
we'll
he's a
just do
bit all.
path
He's
sum.
a lot
I
all
think
over the
I need
place. He's
this.
pretty all over the place.
But yeah. Or this starts at 0. But int. All right, maybe this will just make things a little easier for me, just to keep track of path sum.
Okay.
But anyways, we need to loop through every single. So for. Okay. Let's make it a little cleaner. So integer. Possible branches equals to adjacency list dot get. And then for every integer, what's what we call it? It's called node. For every node in possible branches, we have to visit. Okay, so now if we're returning 0, like if there's no apple, where like for example this situation we were talking about earlier, right? Like oh, after 2, there's no apple after, so why are we returning anything, right? This kind of solves itself because like 3 would just return a 0, right? And then a 0 is fine. It's basically like we didn't visit 3. That's the idea I want to get at. So we really just have to return the answers of all of the branches. So we could do something like path sum plus equals DFS of node, and I don't know if I need this end, but whatever. Adjacency list is apple. Okay, and then
Yo, chat. Honestly, pretty much right away, I realized I knew that I didn't think that he was gonna solve the question with just the way that he was approaching it and thinking about it, and his ideas were way too jumbly in order to solve a question like this. You need a lot more structured approach. So pretty much right away, I had a feeling he wasn't gonna solve it.
okay. Something's a little off with my sum calculation. So I need to add the paths of all the following sums plus 1 and put it in a number, and that's the number I'm returning. So maybe it's 0, right? Wait, okay, give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Yeah, this
I
is
need
getting
to
getting
add
the limit.
I need to add right because I'm doing the plus ones already. So okay, maybe this is just 0, and then
Okay.
maybe yeah. So okay, it's 0 for now, and then we add the possibilities of all the places we can go to. So let's okay, 10 pesum. Oh wait, yeah, we'll do like a final pesum. This is
Chat. Let's talk about how you would actually solve a question like this. So we have a bunch of nodes. It doesn't really matter what the nodes are. So we have node here, node here, node here, node here, right? Node here. Then we're gonna have some apples along the way. So if we performed a maybe add one here that leads to a dead end. If we were to perform a DFS, we'd go here, we'd go here. This would probably return 0. This would return 0. And I think all it should do is return, and then we'd go here, and we go here. These would return 0. But since this is an apple, this should probably return 2 because it had to come here and back, right? And if this one gets a number, anything other than 0 from its children, it gets a 2 from here, right? It'll probably get 0 from here. If it gets any number greater than 2, it should probably return 2 plus what it got from its children. So this will return get 4. This will return back 6 because it traveled that edge, and then you just follow that logic. So I think this might be like a less than 10 line code. So this returns 0, but then since it's an apple, we're going to return back 2. So if it's an apple or the children return a number greater than 0, we're going to return back the left and right. So it's going to be a post order plus 2. Does that make sense, chat?
okay. So if it's 0 and is apple
Does it matter if it's a
at
binary
root
tree or not? It's just like if any of them
is
return 0
false,
or not.
then we definitely return 0.
But yeah, you're right.
Otherwise,
Is it not a
I could
binary
probably
tree?
optimize this. Like I could combine this with like what I return later on. But let's just for now just say that
Oh, you're right.
if
That's a
it's a
good
root
clarification.
and it's true,
Oh, yeah. I think he got cooked.
uh, whatever. I don't need that. Return 1.
How do you think
Okay,
he would have solved it?
so
Do you think he just needs
at
more studying,
4,
or he should have looked at it in a
we
different
have to
way?
return a 1. We have to
Okay.
return a 1 here. This 1 also knows. We also added 1 earlier to get here, right? To consider this path. And then this 4 is returning a 1. I don't really like that design, but I think there's a way we can figure it out later. So okay, we go to the 5. Okay, 5. It's the same thing. If we were at this 2, right? This 2, or I guess the best example we could do this is if this 5 was not an apple. So then we would consider both like an apple and no apple. And then now let's consider what we would do at 1.
Probably if he drew it
So
out,
at
it would have
1,
been better.
the size is definitely not 0. So we're gonna loop through the
Yeah.
possible branches.
He should probably took some time to really think about the question and understand what the question was asking and visualize how he would traverse it. I think he probably jumped to trying to come up with solutions right away and fooled himself into a bad approach. I think that's exactly what happened here. He's taking really long for the question, so it would probably be like a solid no higher at this point.
Return 5 just not also, but just 5 just returns 0. So now 1 ends up returning a 2, which is like exactly what we want. But it's for different reasons. It's because the 4
Yo, what's up?
like helps us consider the way back. Now I don't know if that will work for every scenario. I'm starting to think it might. But yeah, 1 would return 2. The answer to this, by the way, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the answer to this is 6, just so we know. Okay, and then so 4 is returning a 2. What does this 2 return? So at this 2, it both returns 0. We don't even explore anything. This 2 itself returns. Oh, but this 2 is supposed to return a 1. So okay, that's fine. I can make another case for this, right? So wait. So okay, if both paths, I feel like I'm adding this 1 in the wrong spot. So I should be adding this 1 if final path sum. Oh wait, I read 10 path sum BFS. I need to. I'm like slightly off. So yeah, this part's right where I don't add a 0 if all the nodes are. Where am I going? If all the nodes are 0, but like I also have to consider the node itself somewhere. So I think so. Okay, so if I think this is outside.
Chat, what's everyone's thinking?
So, all right, this is a little messy. But if so if the final path sum
You know what he's doing.
is still 0, if final path sum is 0 at the end of everything, but the node itself, so root. Oh wait, well, wait, edge case wise, like
you should just
if
count up the possible
hypothetically,
roots.
if the entire graph was just a 0, and this 0 had an apple, I would be returning 0, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking any steps. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I was gonna the only reason why I'm like not very enthusiastic about that is if the root was, I was considering like if the final path sum is still 0 and then the root has an apple, I would be just manually
not really
adding
aware
1.
of the time.
Yeah, so I can give
but
you a hint there to
can't do
fix
that.
that. You can just check for the
Yeah.
root on line 84 and just make a modification, right? After you call DFS, check for the root if that's your like edge case.
Okay. Okay, sure.
But I
Sure,
feel
sure.
like that's not the only problem. So
Yeah. There's some issue with the design where I'm like hard coding too much, and I feel like if
yeah,
I just make it flow, it should only be 10 lines. That's like my intuition or something. Um,
I agree. Yeah. So I actually want to
yeah,
give you time to do another problem. So do you want to move on?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So we're gonna do one more problem. It's gonna be a little bit faster, and I will give you 20 minutes for this one, and we can just move because I just want to see like where you're at with other stuff.
okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay. So this next problem, you're given an array of numbers. Okay. So for example, 121. You're given a max value. So for example, 6, and you're given a 2D list of operations. So
You
for
time yourself
example,
in your
let's
interviews,
see.
and you need to be
So
aware
their
of the time.
operations is like this.
Like he
So
killed
1,
almost
4,
48 minutes and didn't ask any
4.
hints
Let's actually make this make it easier.
and didn't
So
make
let's
like
make this 0
meaningful
index.
progress on that first question.
Okay, 1, 4, 2, 3.
Like as an
Something like this.
interviewer, if
Okay.
somebody's like
So
doing
basically,
circles like
in
that
all of
and they're
these
not really
operations,
asking
you
for your
perform
advice,
them all.
like an interview, if somebody just keeps looping like that, it makes you check out real fast.
The first digit, or the first like thing, is the index. The first item is index.
Mhm.
Second is value to increase by. And so basically what you do is you take whatever index in the array and you increase it by that number. Okay.
Okay.
So like at the end of the first call, it would be this.
Yep.
At the end of the second call, it would be this. And there's a caveat here. So whenever we go over max val, we have to reset the array to its initial state.
Mhm.
So for example here, like this 6 would turn into a 10, and then we'd have to reset.
Did
so
you
it
do a
would
coding
actually turn
interview
back
with
to
Alpha?
this.
Okay, so it's
Or
like
you
strictly
just-
greater
you
than.
just did it
So
on
if
your
it's
own?
equal to max value, it's still fine.
Yeah, and then the last thing would be like this. So you would return. So this would be the answer 1, 2, 4. So this is basically the problem: is you're given an array, you're given a max val and an operation, and how do we perform these operations efficiently?
So how'd you solve it?
Okay. Let me make sure I understand correctly. So, are these operations like independent of each other? For example, like here, I know, like, can you see my highlight?
Yeah.
Okay, I noticed that you like increase 5 like it's supposed to be, and then for this step, you decided to not keep the 5 in the first.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sorry. Yeah, so that actually should have.
oh.
They are dependent, so it would have been this. Yeah. So
Okay.
they are in order, and you keep doing them.
Okay. And what am I returning?
The array after all the operations are done.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I mean, my first instinct is, yeah, I could go through all the operations at once, and then like loop through. Let me. If it's okay if I just make my constructor, just to
Yeah.
see. Okay, so I'm returning into array.
Mhm.
So he usually likes to try to type out some
Into
code
array.
without thinking of the solution first. I guess
let's
he
call
needs
this
to get
sum
jump started.
over. Okay,
Wash, how do you perform on on the
int
contest?
array of nums, and then int max val, and we have operations. All right, so then this is the input. So yeah, my first instinct is we just loop through operations, perform every operation. The second we see it go over max value, we update nums.
Did you figure it out yet?
The thing is, and like what is that?
Or cover it.
Operation. Wait, okay. So I think the best time complexity I can do is O of n, where n is the length of operations.
Okay.
Because yeah, I just increase nums. Like getting a number from nums is just
Can't
O
wait to
of 1,
start doing
right?
some code
I could also do this a
Yes.
little bit faster, I think.
No,
It just looks a little bit cleaner
or
if
5.
I were to kind of do all the operations. Okay, I can't sort because that's too fast. That's too slow. But can I sort?
So
Sorting-
frames.
No.
so
Hmm.
for these resets, like just to make sure you understand the problem correctly,
Yeah.
you have to reset the array to the original array.
Oh, I have to reset to the original array.
Yes. So not
Oh.
every operation is going to be like O of 1.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Okay, wait, that makes it a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, if
so
you didn't have to reset anything, this would be like a
yeah.
super easy problem.
Okay,
So-
so my first instinct is to just loop through operations. Every time I run into an operation, I should probably write this down. Loop. So this is still like O of n, I believe. Loop through operations. Every time operations, or every time max val is violated, to set num, like make a copy of nums and reset it. Reset and reset.
okay. So when you say make a copy of nums, so like if nums is already updated, would you make a copy beforehand, or what do you
Yeah,
mean?
I would just make a copy for it. So
I see.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you have an array of 1,000,000 numbers, and you make like 2 changes, and then you have to do a reset here.
Yeah.
Every time you have to make a copy, that's like O of n.
Oh, that is Oven? Oh, so
Yeah, because to
of
make
the
a
n
copy of
squared.
an array, you have to take every
Right,
number
right,
and
right,
copy,
right.
right? So how can we
Right.
improve that?
That's n squared. That's not good. Okay, I definitely feel like
Watch, how did you optimize?
this is doable
How
in
did you
Oven.
optimize it?
There's no point in sorting because then we lose the order of operations. So, okay. Yeah, so we could definitely do an n squared.
For
My
sure.
thought now is how we can do this in O of n. What is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is having to copy it back in,
Yes, sir.
right? So we don't want to
Yes.
copy it back in. We still want to somehow reset everything
Mhm.
without copying it. So okay, figure out how to reset without copying everything. Right, and then that solves our time complexity. Does it?
Yes, if we could reset quicker, that would make our time complexity good. Because like an update without a reset is O of 1, but the reset is the thing that takes a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So I could. I guess my first intuition is to. Oh wait, no. But if I create an array that tracks, I create like a stack or something. This
Stack.
doesn't sound right. But I'll create like another data structure, and this keeps tracks of changes. Every time I run into like an overflow, I loop back through just the operations that like I committed to after like the previous reset, and then I undo all of those.
Yeah, they took it back. I solved it. I
Okay,
solved
time
it in the
can you walk
complexity-
through
contest.
what that would look
Okay.
like?
All of a
yeah, go
sudden,
ahead.
like
What were you
after
saying?
Oh.
For that?
they took it back.
Yeah. So the time complexity.
Weird.
I'm trying to decide if this is better than n squared. So let's think
Mhm.
about it. For me to let's say hypothetically, the extreme is I immediately exceed max val. Then
This was passing before.
okay, easy. I go back. Now I take O of n like operations lengthwise, and then I exceed.
This was
Then
my
I have
code.
to go back
Take a look at my code.
on
I
operations,
pretty much would just
which is like
ditch
nums dot
the
length.
changes.
Could I like roughly assume like the input size of nums length and operations dot length, that they're both like pretty
I
close to
think
each other.
there's that hacking phase, and I think
So you
maybe in
can
the
just give
hacking
them
phase
you can just give them
take it away.
like a value. Like you can say like here, like n is num's length and O is like ops length or
Why would
something, and just
ditching?
give me a time
All
complexity
I do
based
is
on those
this changes
values.
equals default
Okay.
dict. I just create a new default dict.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So
O of 1?
worst case time complexity was every operation we reset nums. So that was what n times O, right?
Okay.
Now
Maybe it's the
every
default
operation
dict
we
is
reset
slow.
nums. Yeah. Okay. Now we want to reset everything without copying. So we could like basically perform a bunch of operations. Let's say each operation like is like one off from changing n. So that's and then the next operation exceeds n. Resetting in that scenario, is n. And we went through
He's making more progress on this question.
O operations.
Oh, you're saying like if the last one does a reset?
Yeah. So we would
Okay,
have to yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Makes
It's
sense.
like yeah, something around the time complexity of I think it's like O times I want to say like O times n divided by O. Wait, but
That would just be n.
that would just be n. Okay, so just be n.
Yeah, worst
So
case.
Yeah.
I don't think that's correct. Well, it depends how you make your reset, but let's say the reset is instant for whatever. If the reset is instant, then it would just be O of operations, right?
Yeah, it would just yeah.
So there's no way it could be O of n no matter what, because what if n is like 3 and O is a million?
Oh,
There's no way it could be O of n no matter, and the reset can only be slower than instant or
yeah,
instant,
yeah.
right? So yeah.
Right.
So there's
Yeah,
no way that's right.
yeah. That
So
doesn't sound right.
let's just come up with like a faster way to reset, and then we can talk about time complexity like once you get the code.
Okay, sure. Yeah. It's so what I'm thinking of right now is just create a stack and a
Okay.
counter. Set the counter the counter starts at 0. Every time we add something to the stack, counter goes up, counter plus plus, and then once we hit
Chat, did he explain what the
max
stack is
val,
for?
we do some like damage control where we pop and decrease counter and stop popping once counter is 0, and then we just keep going. We keep going through operations.
Okay. Can you walk through what that looks like with my example that I gave you, just so I can
Oh
understand?
yeah. So let's
What got kicked off? Oh, I ran out of time. I think he got cooked. Okay. Kicked out. Went OT. He went OT. So what's up? Is he back? We got kicked out.
Yeah, it ended
Went
because it went
OT.
over. I think Calendly like auto cancels them. I'll wait back. I'll just like edit this part out when
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah.
No,
I think we have
looking good so far.
something.
Let's see. Chat saying GG.
I mean, it's yeah. Let's see if he rejoins. I messaged him on Discord and I sent him a message as well. should be able to.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what your feedback is. I got my own set.
Yeah. It'd be good to compare as well. Is he gonna rejoin? Hopefully.
I get distracted with these interviews if they're not progressing. Start
No, I
thinking about
agree.
random
Yeah,
stuff. I zone out.
you just give like 50 hints until they progress. I think you can go one of two ways. Like some people just like sit there and let the people struggle. Some people give hints until they figure it out. Uh, I mean, I just want to move on to a second problem because I felt like that was
Yeah.
better. See if he wants to join or if he has time or whatever. Okay, he's joining, I think.
All right, sick.
Okay, yeah, you can meet for a sec.
Yeah, I'll be.
Hey, can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Continue.
Yeah.
We have another like 10 minutes or so.
Okay, sounds good. This is good.
Alpha's such a
So
nice
yeah, I
interviewer.
don't know. Did you hear my entire example or so?
As in, like
Yeah.
I did not
he
because
gives the person so
because the
much extra
meeting ended.
time.
So can
Okay,
you
yeah.
can you walk through like the example I gave you?
Yeah.
You can
so,
write down like what the variables would look like too. It'd be better.
Alpha's such a nice guy. Like when he's interviewing, he gives the person so much extra time. When I first started interviewing, I used to go over all the time because I'll just let them keep trying. But then over time, when you start having to interview way too many candidates, you can't just keep going overtime on all of them, and then you just learn to just cut it short if they're not progressing. Maybe next time.
one. This is 5,
Like, why is he using a
6,
stack?
1,
I still don't understand why
and then
he's
this
using a
is
stack.
okay. So this one we don't have to add to the stack yet because we realize here 6 plus 6 plus 4 is 10 is greater than 6. Let's see max val. Is greater than max val. So we don't even have to do this operation, and then start unstacking, and I guess we have a counter at the same time too. But the counter is pretty trivial. We can just use like stack.size or something, and we undo all the operations, and we end up back at 1, 2, 1, and then we do the last last operation, and we get 1, 2, 4. So 1, 2, 4, and our stack is this, and we
Okay.
return
Just
this.
stack 4, bro.
Okay, that makes sense. So what would be the time complexity now that you have like you know what you're doing? What would be the time complexity of this?
Yeah. So the time complexity, it's definitely O. We definitely have to go through O times.
Okay.
The worst case scenario is I fill up the I reset the entirety of n.
Mhm.
And then I have to reset at the next one. So I'm holding n. I have to undo. Wait.
He's
Oh,
solving
but I only
like
have
a
to undo the amount of
Codeforces
operations that
question. He's solving. I can
did.
send you the question.
Oh, so it should just be Wait.
He's trying to solve this out of memory error question.
Yeah, it should just be O.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's right. And then what's the space?
Okay. Space is also O because I have to hold every operation or n, whatever's. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't consider the input, then or the input of nums.
Yeah, I think it'll be O because you
Yeah.
only put operations in. Okay. Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
can code this.
Okay, sounds good. So. All right. Make our stack. Okay, I don't think I can use. I'm pretty sure stack.size is an operation, so I don't have to worry about that. And then
So what stack.size is an operation?
like instead of using a counter to keep track of the size of the stack,
24.
we can just use stack.size.
I see.
And then
Power
subtract. Yeah, sorry.
56,
And then once
Yeah.
the size is
power of
0, we
8.
just yeah.
Yeah, because you're
Um,
basically just undoing the stack once you get invalid. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. We'll just call it operation.
Which is
Sure.
8, 16.
And we have stack dot
2
push.
to the power of what?
All right,
I
okay,
really
so
don't know.
we have to make sure we get the order of this right. Here, return nums. We're just returning nums at the
If a
end.
number is a power of 2, how many
Uh,
ones are in its binary
Okay,
representation?
so the order is we first int is under
Oh no, just
max.
1,
Sure.
which is the last
So we make
significant
sure
bit.
that
L.
nums. Oh, we should probably make it a little cleaner. So int index is. What was the index? The index is the first value. So index is this. Int change. Well, let's do to change. Is this. This is cleaner. And then we need to take nums of index plus to change. Now, if it goes over the max value, oh wait, this is wrong. If it goes over the max value, then there's like no
How many
no
positive factors
bother
does
in making the
1?
changes. Oh wait,
Mhm.
okay. Let's say we exceed them. I guess this is edge case, right?
6.
If we exceed the max value at the very last operation, if we exceed the max value at the last operation, we still want to reset. We still want to reset everything, right? And we
Mhm.
return the empty nums. Okay, yeah, this is fine then. So
6 because 12.
we have under max. Okay, now if is
12
under
counts
max
as a factor?
isn't under max. So if it's greater and it's just strictly greater than. So we can write if statement. Okay, so the good news is the good scenario is that it's under max, right? Then we push. We don't always push, but we almost always push. A new or wait, do we need to do this? We just push the operation. Yeah, good news is we just push the operation and then we update nums.
You can
So
reverse the
nums
operation since the
index
last exceed
plus
each time a
equals
number.
to change. This is good.
But if you exceed the operations, that's a lengthy process though.
Yeah, looks
It's
fine.
like ov
Okay,
n
now
or ov
this
o.
is like I guess the worst one.
Still
So
kind of
while
slow. I feel like that's
stack
slow.
dot size it's not equals.
What if there's like
0,
a million operations?
Stack dot comp. So is under max is yeah. Okay. We need to reset all. So we take the same index. We can reuse index. And we can also use reuse change. This is fine. We do nums I minus equals to index minus equals to change. And we pop. And that feels like it's it. Okay. I think I'm done coding, but I'm just gonna really quickly run through the code.
Yeah, run
more
through
time,
that code. Run
just
through
in case
that
something's
code.
wrong. So let's just run through the example through the code. So we have a stack operation. Okay, I'm copy pasting this. Max value is 6. Max value is 6. Okay, so first operation 0 4, nothing. So our is under max should just be 6. And it is. 6 is not. So we push into the stack. And we nums index plus 2 change. What am I doing?
Practicing my math skills real quick.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I push. That's it. Take the second one. 1 4. Also under push push into the
Okay,
stack.
Chad, we're gonna get into some code forces right after
Update
this.
nums. That sounds right.
Oh, it's kind of.
Okay, now we
I don't know if the
take.
candidate did well.
This is the one that makes us overflow. To change. Yeah. Wait. So, oh yeah, nums index is right here. Nums should be updated now. So to change is 10. Is under max is 10. 10 is greater than 6. So then we start running this while loop. This while loop stack size should be 2. And we subtract the first. We basically just undo what we did down here. Minus change looks good. Do it on pop, size is 1. Do it again. Size is 0. We stop because it's 0. And we don't and yeah, we don't even have to worry about this update. And then yeah, we just do the last operation. Looks good.
Okay. So one last quick question. So right now I use a stack. There is a constant space way to do that. Can you think of how?
Okay. A constant space way of doing that.
Mhm.
So that means we don't even need a stack.
Mhm.
So I'm
So
assuming
he's
that
just pushing all the
it would have to
operations,
do some.
and then he's
It
reversing
would
them
have to be
if it goes
something.
over.
Okay, I want to use a hash map, but that doesn't work.
Not a
so
yeah. You
Yeah,
can't use any.
yeah.
You just use like a couple of variables.
Like,
yeah,
why not just
okay.
keep track
Is
of
it
what changed
possible
and then
if
reset
I were to
those?
use a few variables? So okay, I guess the worst time complexity in this case, or space complexity, whatever you want to call it, is n. Right? We need to save all the changes.
Well, you would update the array, but you actually never have to save changes anywhere.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's what I was getting at. So the only way I can kind of do this with zero space is to be changing nums.
Okay. But if you change nums, how do you know what to change back to?
Yeah. So that's the thing. I guess my first thought is in nums I could like add a space or okay, maybe this is stupid, but I would like turn it into a string, add the changes, and keep the okay. Wait, no, that doesn't work. So,
You know what? Actually, thinking about it, yeah, I think maybe I screwed that up. I think actually the O1 space, I don't think works because I didn't account for something. So I was gonna say you can keep track of like where it last broke, but I don't think you can do that because you need to know like the current update. So actually, yeah, I think this is fine. I think this is actually optimal. So sorry about that, but it's fine.
Why is it optimal?
Okay,
What-
so I think
Oh,
we're
okay.
yeah, because
It's gonna take a long
I
time.
did this problem like 2 days ago, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
I just thought of like an O1 solution, but then I realized that actually wouldn't work. So there actually isn't an O1, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay,
No
so I
worries.
think we can stop here. So what do you think?
Yeah. So I think generally, and probably also today, was my coding speed, and also just always trying to talk and like make sure that my ideas are like heard. Like
Yo,
I'm
Chad, you can hear me,
exactly
right?
just regurgitating what I'm thinking. I think something that generally I like to take my time, and I think that kind of bit me, um, because today I had to do 2 coding questions in an hour when like most times my interviews would be like 1 coding question in like 45 minutes. So it's definitely a time crunch, and I think the time definitely costed me on the first problem. I think also I realized today another weakness is my thought process is not as good if I don't write any code. For example, today on the first question when I was trying to write, I was starting to write the function like parameters, just
Mhm.
writing the function opener, and then you told me to think it through before I stopped coding. I found it like particularly challenging for myself to think about the solution without seeing any code.
Mhm.
And I think not that it got better later on, but I think just like writing some code would help me. So I think next time if I was in this situation, it's just to like ask if I could write a little bit of code, because that helps me more, and also
Mhm.
be able to think without having to see code, and just being able to like think with like a diagram, right? I could still like write comments and use
Mhm.
that to think it through. But yeah.
Yeah. So my thoughts were, so yeah, for the first one, you asked about the problem and stuff, but yeah, definitely you were like, you basically didn't say anything. You're like, all right, I'm good to code. Or actually, I don't think you asked. You just started coding, and I was like, for
Yeah.
a lot of companies, they'll just say no, especially
Yeah.
for like Google or like Meta or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they'll just say no. And then if you have to write code, then you just like, what are you gonna, like they literally
Yeah.
won't let you until you have a working
Right.
solution.
Right.
So you definitely need to get a lot better at just writing like comments and
Mm-hmm.
figuring out if the comments will work. And even in your like, and I've seen some people do this, even in your like comments, you were basically writing code. So you were like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like code, but I'll write code.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it needs to be more high level, and then you basically need to get better at that. And a lot of people are very reliant on, I'm just gonna code, I'm gonna run in a lead code, and then when he gives me an error, then I'll figure that out and just keep
Right.
changing it.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
not really viable for a no running your code like on site, because you can't do
Yeah.
that. So you definitely need to
Yeah.
get a lot better at like switching to, I'm just gonna write like what needs to happen and then turn that into code, as opposed to code, keep running it and keep fixing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the number of questions, like I don't know what Google does or whatever, but it's company dependent. So some companies will ask you multiple, some companies will give you, I think if I was interviewing, I would probably just ask a harder question if it was one question in 45 minutes than either of the ones
Mhm.
I asked you. Because I'd be like, well, you're
Okay.
45 minutes, so I might as well ask you something difficult because you have so much time.
Right.
Like I don't want
Right.
you to
Right.
finish in 10, or I'd give you follow-ups or something. So I thought
Okay.
these were quite doable in 45 minutes. I actually had a harder follow-up than this one, but because you took so long on the first one, like I was like, well, I'm not
Yeah.
going to ask you like, if this took you, this long, I don't want this to last forever. So in a realistic
Right.
interview, like if you had 45 to do both, you would just fail because like you would only do one, and it
Mhm.
didn't work.
Right.
So I just gave you more time just to see kind of where you're at, so I can give you like a little bit more feedback.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if there's other. Yeah. So you were communicating, but your algorithm was like all over the place. You were like, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like I
Yeah.
think you said like, I really like BFS, so I'll force BFS, and then you
Yeah.
like swap to DFS. So ideally, you're pretty good at both, and then you could figure out which one's easier for the problem you have. So this one DFS would
Yeah.
be easier, and then you would just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think DFS would be easier. And I almost certainly knew where like your algorithm wasn't correct. And you're like, yeah, but I'll just start coding. And I'll be like, okay, fine, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
notice like you started coding, but if you can't run anything, it's like it's still not easy to write it correctly. Like
Right.
you were moving stuff left and right, and you actually had quite a lot of bugs. So let me point some out.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I feel like I was. Oh, sorry. I feel like I was
Yeah.
really close. Like I'm just missing like a few things, and I feel like when I'm decoding normally here, I would just
Uh-huh.
like throw into AI and just like ask for help.
Yes.
And then like
But
right
you can't
because I
do
know
that.
I know my logic is just slightly off. Like it's so close, and everything will just line up perfectly.
Yeah,
But
but you can't. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
but I was just wrong
yeah.
one place, and then it just costed me everything. And then I just want to say one more thing is I feel like I
Uh-huh.
wasted a lot of time suggesting BFS. Like I knew DFS would
Yes.
work, and then like I was just like, oh, like let me do BFS, like because I was too lazy to think it through the DFS, and then I
Yes.
ended up going back to DFS and having to think it through anyways. And now I'm like, I just feel like I just wasted so much time, you know. But
Yeah. So some other stuff was, let's see. Oh yeah. So yeah, basically like the plan was way too, like the comment part was too long. So some of your errors were like, for example, the adjacency list size can't be 0, because it's a tree and it's not empty. So it will never like, so these nodes should have been like, or these edges should have been undirected, because basically like you maybe that wasn't clear to you, I guess, but like you don't know which node leads to what, right? Like the 0, 1, 0, 2 thing doesn't mean it's directed. You could have asked, and I could have said it's directed and do it that way, but you should have asked. Does that make sense?
wait, can you repeat that? Like
Yeah, so
the edges.
I never said the edges are directed. So you don't know, like I just said it's a tree represented as a graph or something.
Oh.
So you don't know for sure like which one's the parent. So you could have asked, is it weighted? And then maybe I would have said yes, and then, or not weighted, directed, and maybe I would have said yes, but I didn't tell you that. So you don't know like if 1 is the parent of 4 or 4 is the parent of 1, but here the way you coded it, you assumed basically like 1 was the parent of the
Oh.
other. So I would have definitely
Okay.
clarified that, and if it was the other way, then this would just never work.
Okay.
And then you'd have to
Wait,
store
but
the parent.
Right. But like, if I were to ask, you would tell me that they are.
I would tell you it's undirected. I would have told you it's undirected.
Oh, did I not ask if it was undirected?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then the other thing is, let's see if there's any other. I think I wrote a couple.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I wrote a comment here. I think I said like undirected, but I should.
Oh, did you?
I should add. Yeah, like the highlighted comment. I
Oh,
wrote. I think I said it when I was.
okay.
Trying to
Well,
think of.
maybe. I mean, I can look back through the VOD. I'm fairly confident
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, but maybe you assumed. I'll.
Okay.
Okay. If you did ask, wait, you wrote. Oh yeah, you wrote undirected. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe you did ask, and I said it was undirected. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it's undirected, then you don't know what the parent is, so you have to do both, and then you would just go down from 0, and then in that case, you'd basically have to store a parent. So in your like DFS, you'd store another node.
Right.
But yeah, the idea is like you didn't very you kind of tried to fit all the edge cases into like some algorithm that wasn't very clean, and instead you should have figured out like how do I write this in a way that covers everything, but it's like good.
Yeah.
And so
Did
the
you
basic idea
actually?
here would have been to like,
Yeah.
I mean, you were kind of close. It's basically, yeah, like if you have an apple, then you just return like the path. You also, this path sum is completely unused, or should be completely
Yeah.
unused because you're recursing bottom up, not like down.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think for the first one, this was a clear like fail.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot to work on. And then for the second one, so yeah, the second one, I think, yeah, I also wrote down like you were trying to. I don't know if you asked if you can code, but for some reason I wrote down you were like not comfortable writing a plan without coding. But I mean that's the same thing in the other one. Let's
Okay.
see. Tried to make. Oh yeah, so you tried to make a copy like here, and I pointed out that it doesn't work, but I pointed that out, and you realized that. You create another data structure, which is good. So I think basically the things that work is either a stack or a map. Either one's
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm.
And like a cleaner solution would have been you have a stack, and then whenever you have to reset, you just clear the stack and you only make the changes from the stack at the end. But I mean, that's like a small thing. Does that make
Uh-huh.
sense?
Um, a little bit. Wait, what do you mean by like make the changes at the end? Like when I
Or
still have to loop.
I guess you'd use a map. So a cleaner solution would be use a
Oh,
map.
okay.
Or
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Map
yeah,
would be better because then I
yeah,
don't have to change the same number over and over again.
yeah.
I just change it once.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Map would also improve space because if you have like a million operations and 3 numbers, you can just update in place.
okay. Yeah, that's
So your map would just be basically like changes, and then whenever your changes aren't valid, you just drop the map. But I think stack is good enough.
okay.
And then yeah, and then this was like a red flag, the time complexity thing where I was asking you time complexity stuff and you were just giving me the wrong stuff. So
Yeah.
I think you said like it's like
I
n
said O
times O
times.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said O times n divided by O, but
Yeah. And I gave you like an example of like, so I definitely would make sure you like do that stuff.
yeah.
And then let's see, or you had a bug on some, maybe
in
the
my
code
code?
moved.
Oh,
Oh
really?
yeah, you definitely did have a bug. So you had a bug on this while loop. You're reducing the to change, but to change changes because you're popping like off the stack. So you're not actually using the stuff you're
Oh
popping.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah. So for a problem like this, I would expect you to, maybe I'd hint you, but I would expect you to find this bug because it's like 10 lines of code. So if you do the dry run and you
Yeah.
can't find this bug, that's not good because like there's basically nothing else in the thing. And I would consider this like critical. This isn't like a syntax error or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Isn't this slow? This right here.
The
Popping
pop?
all the operations from the stack that happened.
No, because basically you're adding every operation once and popping it off once, so it'd still be like O of operations. Like at most you're pushing an operation once, and then at most you're popping once. So yeah. So I
Yeah.
think basically for the second one, I gave you like a lean no hire, and then for the first one, I would give you like a no hire. And I think yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff. The main thing is just focus on this type of format, and you can't run your code, and so you have to like really focus on getting getting like the comments and stuff, and then getting a solution. So it's like there's like a couple steps. Step one is like take a problem, write pseudocode that gives you a very clear algorithm without just like writing code. Step two, take your algorithm and write clean code that works quickly. So I guess
Mhm.
there's like three things: problem, code, and then speed, and then yeah, do a dry run and try to catch your bugs. Um,
Okay, just to like summarize, the
mhm.
second question, the two biggest red flags was the critical syntax error and also the misstated time complexity, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't like once. Like I would change stuff, and then you keep saying it wrong. So I was like, let me just ask you again. Like let me give you clear examples and ask you again, and it was
Yeah.
still wrong. And it was like, and this is also the type of problem that like the time complexity is pretty easy, because
Yeah,
it's just like two arrays or something. It's not some like graph where it's like, yeah, if you're off by a little, fine. Like because
right,
that's complicated. So
right.
so overall, yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of like quite a lot of stuff here, and I would
Mhm.
say that this would be like a no hire because it's not just like there was a slight thing you did wrong. It was like a decent amount of stuff. And I
Okay,
would definitely study a lot and like, yeah, prepare as much as you can.
okay, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. It's I guess the other James, do you have any feedback that I didn't mention?
Yeah. Let's see. No, a lot of my feedback is the same. I think you mentioned it where you start coding right away. You need to practice being able to think through the idea before coding. I mean, when you first start, even when you're a junior, sometimes they give you a project and you're eager to just start coding and figuring stuff out, but a lot of times you need to also practice that muscle of sitting down, thinking through all the possible solutions or thinking through the solution a little bit before you get down to coding. So I think when you're practicing, make sure you iron it out. And then
Mhm.
you didn't clarify, so things like is this actually a valid tree? Is the edges bi-directional? Are the edges pointing in the right direction so it like traverses from root down? Alpha
Mhm.
mentioned that already.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of thoughts, but like Alpha had to tell you to start writing it down. And then once you're writing it down, it's better. You have a lot more notes there that the interviewer could take a look back later. But initially, your thoughts were all over the place, like going from DFS to BFS. So I think just it would be better for you to just take a step back and understand before coming up with ideas and jumping all over the place. Even
Mhm.
for this question, sometimes you could pull up the whiteboard and work through a even smaller example that might have made it a lot easier for you to visualize what you need to do here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that could have helped actually. I think James does that a lot where like I give you this bigger thing and you just take something with like three nodes or something and
Yeah,
see if you get it.
because there's pretty much
Mhm.
three cases here that you didn't really talk about your solution. Well, you talk about what happens at the leaves, right? But then
Yeah.
I think the only other cases are what happens if it's an apple and then there's more apples below it, and then what happens if it doesn't have an apple but there's still apples below it. I think that case ends up being the same, and if you just cover those two cases, you get to the optimal solution. So I
Mhm.
think that's an example of how you could break it down.
Mhm.
And I think just knowing when to use BFS over DFS. Like for this question, I wouldn't even consider BFS at all or even think about it. I would more
Right.
think about DFS. Like, am I doing a pre-order, post-order, and in-order? I think for this one, I would think it's gonna be a post-order because I need to know the results of the children before I decide to return like my result. So I would say when you're looking at something like this, also think about, am I doing a pre-order, post-order, and in-order? And most of the times you won't even you do a BFS unless it's saying shortest path in an unweighted or like level order.
Okay.
Like you'll see, just do more questions and you would clearly be able to knock off that path because
Mhm.
you
Right.
had a lot of solutions in your mind, but you weren't able to narrow it. So that's one thing. If somebody's really good at interviewing, a bunch of solutions will come into their mind, but they start knocking off the different solutions right away.
Right. Right.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Oh, go ahead.
I think the BFS was just like I kind of knew in the back of my mind that BFS was like never an option, but I still said it because it's what I thought. I think I just need more confidence. Just like going with
But
one.
why would you, or why did you think it would work at some point, and then what made you think it won't work at all?
Well, the reason why, well, I you can solve every DFS problem with a BFS solution, right? It just might not be like as intuitive.
You
Um,
probably can solve this, but it might be a lot harder.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's what I thought. And I was like, okay, my BFS or my DFS is just like not DFSing. I think it's probably because my fundamentals are not that strong. Like I if you ask me to recite like level order, I it might take me a second to think about it. And like it's interesting that you say like, oh, it's just like post order and then you just solve it.
Can you
Because like
actually solve a B like if it's a post order, can you do it with a BFS? Like you'd have to go back up, right? So how would you do that?
Or you can't do it
Like
with a post order
yeah.
BFS, I don't
Yeah, I don't
think.
think you can. So I don't
uh,
know if what you said was true actually.
Or I
okay.
said, or I said like when thinking of a DFS, you should
No,
think
no,
about
yeah, so sorry, yours
yeah.
was true, but the like every DFS you can do with a BFS, like I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
You
I'm pretty
probably
sure it's
can because
true.
there's weird leak code questions like that, but
Yeah.
I
it's
mean
gonna be
I
weird.
mean if you store the levels and then you go down and then you like go back up to level, then it would work. But I just usually don't do problems like that, I guess. So yeah, I guess if you do store the levels and then you like go back up to level, then that would make sense.
Yeah, there's probably some way. It's just definitely like not optimal.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I would just say also keep track of the time because
Yeah, for sure.
you were going back and forth on your ideas and the time was just starting to pass. I
right.
think when you start realizing you're 20 minutes in, you just gotta take a deep breath at that point and try to like reset there because you kind of just
Hmm.
kept going back and forth for a long time past like the 20-30 minutes. So just when you're working through questions, time yourself and make sure you're progressing because that's one thing interviewers look at. Is this person making progress over time or are they in the same place they were 20-30 minutes ago?
That's
Because
why I
it's
asked if we
okay.
should move on because like for 20 minutes you basically didn't get too far and I was like we're very far from solving this. What do you think? Like I
Hmm.
didn't feel like you were making progress for quite a
Right,
while.
right.
Yeah. But that's kind of on the second question. I think I don't really have many comments on the second question. I feel like the stack might still be inefficient because we add all the operations, then we have to like pop all of them out after. And so that's it could regress to an O event if the operations pass the size of the data store.
Well, it would be O of operations, but yeah, you could make it better with a map. That's what I said. But I think stack is like a reason. Like I think map would do the same. It would just be better because then you would update the same value over and over.
Hmm.
But this was also like I feel like the second one was kind of like a more of like a gimme, and would be like easier than an onsite just because we took so long in the first one. I didn't want to ask
Yeah,
you another
yeah.
one like that.
The second question definitely felt pretty easy. Like a easier medium, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say definitely spend time focusing on trees, especially for Google interviews. I know they like the trees and they definitely like the array questions as well.
okay.
But
Yeah,
trees are you'll run across trees in like every interview. So understanding DFS, the variations, understanding BFS, that'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
you a long way here.
Okay, yeah. I think yeah. Like preparation wise, I just need to do a little bit more DFS because I've done a lot of like the Neat Code 150 graph ones, but a lot of them I just like sell with BFS, and they're all like this is like my first tree graph problem, which is I think is really good because I've been doing a lot of like grids.
Yeah, I just
But
try to find questions that people struggle with that are very unlike the Neat Code 150 because if I ask anything off of that, everyone has it memorized.
yeah, right,
So it's like a waste of time interview. I'm like, can I give you something you haven't seen and can you actually problem solve? Or do
right,
you just
right,
memorize the Neat Code solution?
Yeah.
right.
I'm not gonna
And
lie,
then the
they
other,
probably will never ask you anything off Neat Code 150. Those questions are
Yeah, like
super
dead.
super dead. It's like
yeah,
they'll never ask you anything off blind 75.
yeah,
Because maybe they interview people with that, and then everyone just gives them an answer in 5 minutes, and they're like, okay, well, it's just stupid to ask. So moving on.
right, right. Yeah, I also think
Try
the
try out the
commenting is
Peralta
just important.
75 list.
What's the what list?
I'll give you the
Don't worry
truth.
about it. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
I was
Um,
gonna say the last thing I was gonna mention was so when I say like go through the like example and like you were like I'm gonna make a stack and I'm like are you even writing anything like I'm not gonna keep track of what your stack looks like in my head or something. So when
right.
you dry run like the example you definitely need to be writing stuff down and for your own
Hmm.
thoughts it's good to write stuff down because the interviewer isn't going to remember like 50 things you say,
Hmm.
so because then
Yeah.
it'll help them, like, if you write down a plan and you go and you pivot, then I could be like, hey, you said you were doing this, but you're doing this, like, why is that? And it might be an error, or you can explain it, or so on. So it helps the interviewer kind of like know what you're
Mm,
doing a little bit better if you write down your thoughts.
So like by writing down thoughts, do you mean something like this? Like when I'm or I don't know if you see my highlight. Like when I'm when I'm like iterating through the example, this is like this is fine, right?
Yeah. So I'd find a way to write things down as fast as you can. So for dry runs and all this stuff, like I usually just like for most of my stuff, I'll just have like a pointer or something, and I'll be like, I'm here. And then for the next iteration, I'll move here. I'm not going to write down like everything in one, you know. So that would have been a lot faster. So if you have like if you have an array of like 1, 2, 3, and you have some ops, then you have some ops, whatever. Like I'd just be like, okay, I'm here in my operation, and like here's my stack, and then I'll just like all I need to do then is just move this instead of like writing down a ton. It
Okay,
makes
yeah,
it
that
it
makes
makes
sense.
it yeah. So you want your dry runs to be like really fast.
Right.
So
Yeah, I just felt like really slow. I was like typing everything out.
yeah, and people do
Yeah.
that a lot, and they're like if a dry run takes like 10 or 15 minutes, then you're just taking forever, and you're just gonna run out
Yeah.
of time. So
Yeah.
This your first time
So
doing mocks or no?
this was my first mock. Yeah. I've
Okay.
I've done lead code for a while. I think I have like almost 400 solved, but um
it's a
yeah.
different it's a different thing.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it feels so different. Like I've done this is probably like this upcoming interview is probably like my fourth interview now, like fourth super day. But and like this, I just like never like I guess interviewed for such like a difficult company generally. So I think like what I've been doing works out. But I've been like I like watched the videos and I feel like the way like some of the strong hires like structure their thoughts is like really elegant, you know, like they
Mhm.
just write out sentences and then it's like boom, this sentence, this code goes with this sentence, and then like they like the way they like surgically take out the problem is like it's really cool. So
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
something I'm
it's the
trying to
same
get
as
better
leak
at.
code. Like no one knows anything in the beginning. You just do enough, and then you get better. So
Right. Yeah. I think I guess for like just to like make sure I understand correctly, when I
uh
comment, so I should dry run faster by using like an arrow and like an example.
mhm.
But when I'm writing out my thoughts, I should write more English instead of code too, right?
Yeah, I would definitely never write code in your thoughts. I would just write like I don't know if you've seen the people who do well, like just write like
Yeah.
pseudocode or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you know, that's like
Yeah.
more high level. Like if you write code in the comments, then it's like I told you not to code, but you're writing code anyway. Then what's the point? So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely stick to more English.
Okay. And then is there I think like especially the first question, it's like I know the rough idea is like I'm making a path of like one and then I add the two values, like I break it down into like sub problems, right, of the same problem.
Hmm.
Um, but how do I kind of go from thinking like that to being able to like account for all the edge cases? Like I feel like a lot of times when people like good coders, they kind of just like have all the edge cases considered instantly, and then their code like if you see like later right in my base case, I had to like write this like garbage. Like I just wrote like two base cases right for like something I definitely could fit in one. It's like how do I go from like thinking a high level and then immediately being able to code the base case, code like the solution that works for kind of like all edge cases, like
Hmm.
all the cases, not even like edge cases, right? Just like a star with no star or like a star with a star. How am I able to like do that in like one go?
So that's like more problem solving. Like you need to figure out what edge cases are actually the same. And I think James said like there's basically like three things. There's like no apple and nothing underneath. Like how do you handle that? Apple and nothing underneath. And then stuff underneath, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this first one's pretty easy. Like if there's nothing, you just return like 0. If there's an apple and there's stuff underneath, then you need to return like basically this problem, if you think about it, is basically every edge that you go down to an apple, you just count twice. So here I can like quickly paste the Python thing that I had just to show you like what like a clean solution looks like.
Yeah, and like one
Um,
thing is like you were building the solution off a shaky foundation, as in you didn't truly know what you're
yeah,
trying to implement, and then that's how you
Right.
end up with a really weird solution. So it's like iron
Yeah.
everything out. If you had more things ironed out, then you're gonna have more elegant code. It's like
Yes.
build up
Yeah.
the
You
foundation.
like you didn't really know what the solution was. You were just like, I'm gonna write it and move it until it works. Where if you knew
Right.
exactly what you're looking for, then it would be clean. So basically, yeah, this is like the idea. Like if you don't have anything, you just return 0. If you do have an apple or you have stuff underneath, then you just return whatever you have underneath plus 2. And basically, the idea is like every edge you go down, you go back up. So if you go down to a node to go down and go back up, you just like return 2. And then you were asking about the root having an apple, so like this thing would handle that on 95. So you can just check for the apple if you want to.
Okay.
Um,
This is it, right? It's all just that.
yeah, you can just convert that to Java if you want to.
No, yeah. Oh, so
Uh,
okay. You just use like a total. Okay.
Yeah, so this would be like, yeah, basically this. Yeah, and then yeah, I said it was undirected. So and then oh yeah, I kept track of the parent because it's undirected. So it starts at 0, but you basically if it's undirected and you don't keep track of a parent, you will have like an infinite loop because it'll just go back and forth. But I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of ways to code it, but the main thing is you need to recognize like what are the cases I need to handle, and once you recognize like there's an edge between every node, and all I have to do is just count how many edges I traversed times 2, and that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the main thing is like if in your plan you need to be very confident of like what the solution looks like, and your code is basically just writing code, not thinking of like what the solution looks like. Where if your plan
Right.
is very shaky, a lot of people do this, they just write something and they don't really know like what it even means. They just want to be able to code, and they'll be like, well, I'll just code, I'll figure it out. That's where it
Right.
becomes a mess.
Right. I think
Even on the job.
the
Even on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess the issue is I wasn't able to think of like a strong foundation, and I was just like sat there like thinking, but I just have to like think better, I guess, right? Because
Yes.
like if I can't think of the foundation, then I guess for me like my only option is to code.
Yes.
'Cause,
So
like sitting there
basically,
like
yeah, in this
yeah like
problem, what you can do is write comments, make sure the comments are clear, and you should be able to walk through my example with your comments with whatever data structure and make sure it's good. And then once you know that, then you're like, okay, these comments are 100% right. Now I can write the code, and I don't have to like check it because I know what I wrote is 100% right. So for a lot of problems, you can do that. Like
yeah
I basically asked you to do that for the second one, and then you're like, oh yeah,
yeah
this works for sure. So like the second one, your code was, I mean, other than the other bug, like
yeah
your code was like pretty good because you knew exactly what to do. But for the first one, you were kind of guessing. So I was actually gonna just like I was very very confident that when you said like, oh, I don't quite have it, let me just start coding, I was like, this isn't gonna go well.
right
So yeah.
yeah. But I think I don't know. It's like I think sometimes I just have to like just be better, right? Because uh like the logic or like the foundation you're talking about, it doesn't always come like as easily as like different questions, like the second question, like I just kind of like instantly knew like I had like the right answer. And then the
Mhm.
first one is like I never really just like it's all jumbled up in my brain, and I know like it's like I have a bunch of like I have like all the right puzzle pieces, but I can't put them together like the right way into like the right solution. And then
Mhm.
I'm sitting there without the good foundation because everything's jumbled up, and I just can't put them together. So then I just like sat there for a long time. I think like
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, and I guess like in that situation, like I'm already cooked because
Yeah.
I didn't problem solve it. So I guess the only solution to that issue where I have all the pieces jumbling around is just to get better and figure out like just like know how to do it right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say one thing is like you said you solved 400 questions already though. Like what's the breakdown?
Yeah.
Easies, mediums, and hards for those.
Um. I can share my
Because
profile.
like you
Is that
solve a
easier?
lot of questions, so I think maybe you need to go back and just understand the patterns. Like go in and
Yeah.
just make sure you have the templates down for a DFS. Like the code alpha shared is pretty much boilerplate post order with slight adjustments.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out how you do it and like just have the templates ready in your mind. Go back and understand the basics and
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
I pasted
essentially boilerplate
I
with
pasted
slight
my
adjustment.
profile.
Okay.
I think that yeah, I know what you mean by boilerplate because I think I'm at a spot where like if you were to tell me to do like BFS, like a lot of the generic graph ones, right? Like rotting oranges or like number of islands, those ones, it has like a generic boilerplate, right? Or like a lot of like binary search, there's also like a boilerplate. So like I think I have the boilerplate down for some of those, but I don't have them down for all of them, if that makes sense.
You also have yeah, so in your profile you have like like almost half of them are like easies. I just wouldn't do easies at this point. I don't know if you are, but
Right.
it's like significantly below what you're gonna get asked. So I would focus more on like the harder mediums and do some like easier hards or something.
Right. Yeah.
Because and also try to get away with or try to do problems outside of like the Necode 150 and stuff now because
Okay.
like you just need more problem solving experience. And like
Right.
yeah, and you want to try to do stuff you haven't seen before and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think I should probably. I haven't been doing them recently, but there was like a phase where I think I was like between mediums and easies, so I was just like solved easies because I couldn't do the mediums, and I didn't want to like sit down and figure it out. But I'm doing that now. I guess I have to pay the price eventually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I
Yeah,
think this
it
is
might be
like
useful to go through like grokking the coding interview or those ones where it teaches you the patterns. I don't know how you learned the patterns initially. Like how did you learn the patterns initially for like DFS, BFS?
I just did a bunch of I just did a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I think like the first 150 when I saw leak code, I just did the dailies, which I definitely is like probably not the best way to start. But I would just like do the dailies, struggle, read the answer, and then like kind of just like learn the structures. I think I learned off at like a pretty like not structured way.
Yeah.
And then I realized
oh,
later on, like, oh, each problem is like solved using a data structure and an algorithm, and then you just have to put the two and two together. And then I think that has helped me a little bit, but I think I realized it really late. That's why I have so many problems solved, but I didn't really learn anything.
yeah, like I've done mocks with people who've done 800 and I've done like, "Oh, you've done 800, I can ask you some tough stuff." And they just like do terrible. And then I've
Yeah,
done
because
some with like there is no magic number and it depends on like do you do them in leak code? Do you like how well do you retain stuff? Have you done an actual
yeah,
interview setting? Like it is totally different. So
yeah, for sure. Because I think like one of my friends, he has like 500 solved, which is like only 100 more than me, right? But I think he's also done some Codeforces, and the way he like structures, because sometimes we do leak code together, and just like the way he solves the problems is just like it's so like I don't know how to explain it. They just like instantly like no, it's like pattern recognition, right? People like say that all the time. It's like
mhm.
he sees the problem, sees like keywords, sees the input like structure, and then he's like, oh, instantly he knows it's like binary search plus like a hash map or something like that, right? Like yeah,
Yeah, like I think I'm probably like the same way where like most of the problems that like if I haven't seen a problem but it's this level, I can figure out the solution in like 5 minutes.
yeah.
Uh
And
yeah.
I think that and it's also kind of crazy because when he codes, he doesn't like when we do leak code, he doesn't code the solution. He cares more about just like being able to say the problem, and then he's like too lazy to code it.
Yeah, that's I think honestly that's fine. Like
Yeah,
just go with you can literally do the problem, write the comments and then do a dry run with your comments and then just do that step only. Once you're
yeah,
good with that step, then take that and then work on clean code that works. So like yeah, I think that's good.
okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking. Oh, sorry.
I was saying
Uh,
honestly, like even Chat GPTing it to like to correct your solution is not going to be beneficial because a lot of the times you're going to overlook the small logic errors that Alpha was pointing out if you never have to fix it yourself and realize why that's the issue. Like sometimes
right.
like it would implement a binary search and I'd go into infinite loop and then I'll just get so like struggling to fix that infinite loop. Now I just remember every time like what would cause that infinite loop instead of chat GPTing it and it just fixes that infinite loop, for example. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, like if you're kind of close all the time and you chat GPT every time, then you will have a ton of errors when you write stuff because you're like you're used to being almost there with a bunch of errors and then relying on chat GPT. So I usually
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
GPT stuff if I know it's like syntax or some variable name. I'm like, I'm super confident this works. I just like screwed up some variable or some plus or minus, and like this isn't worth my time trying to debug. So then I'll try GPT it. But if it's like you have core logic errors and you keep chat GPTing it, it's gonna definitely cost you.
Yeah, because honestly, getting to 90% of the solution, the hard, like we all know,
Yeah.
the hardest part is the last 10%. So
Yeah.
if somebody gets to
Yeah.
90, it's still a fail because
Yeah.
Right.
they couldn't figure out that last 10%, which is usually the harder part of the problem that I want to see if they could solve. So if you're not
Right.
practicing that, then that's not good.
Right.
And with AI now, some people can't do some really basic stuff. Like I had one person that needed to like traverse down a tree to the left or something, and he was like, "How do I structure this?" And it took like 10 minutes. And I asked him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, because I just use AI for everything." It's like it's like fine if you do it for work and stuff, but if you need to interview and they don't let you use AI, then you need to like code without AI. So
Yeah. I guess for like going forward for my next few days of prep, would you say, because this is what I plan to do, but I just wanted to like run it through you guys, is look at more questions and being able to like write the comments out to like kind of a T where like anyone who could code could read the comments and code the solution out. But maybe like not actually code the solution out because sometimes it's like super tedious, like writing like
yeah, yeah, I think that's
nested
fine.
nested for
So
loops.
you do
Okay.
that, and then you can even feed that to ChatGPT and say like, point out the bugs I made.
Right.
And then once you're good at that, then do the code.
Right.
And then make sure you can do both parts reasonably quickly. So try to get a from the problem, try to get a solution in like 10 minutes, maybe like 20 at the worst,
Yeah.
without coding. So if you can't have a comment solution in 20 minutes, it's like a fail for sure.
Okay.
Unless it's like a yeah, maybe if it's like one problem, you have a ton of time and it's like a hard, maybe you have more time. But yeah.
Sure.
I would definitely try to like when I was prepping for like the meta stuff, I would try to go end to end in like 15 minutes. Uh
Okay.
like
Okay.
problem, solution, dry run, everything in 15 minutes.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
if you have
Yeah.
more time for your companies, then you can give yourself more time. But I generally like to practice under harder time constraints than like the actual interview. Then that way I have like a little bit room for error.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And then for like, yeah, for like generic problem solving, because like obviously there's like the boilerplate, and then every code is like a has like a little twist, right? Along with the boilerplate. Is there any way of like kind of being able to think on your feet? So like, oh, I have this boilerplate, and then I need to make like 3 adjustments to fit the solution for this particular problem. Is there any way of like being able to kind of get that quickly, or is it just through doing problems?
I think
So like,
it's just like doing problems and intuition and stuff, and not. I
right.
never was a big fan of going. I mean, I know a lot of people do it, but I never was a big fan of going through like company tag lists or something. I would just do problems. I guess the other thing I can recommend is practice problems harder level than the interview ones. So you can use like there's like a thing called like zero track. I don't know if you heard of it that has like ELO problem that has like ELO for problems. So
Uh-huh.
figure out like what the company asks and then just try harder. So here I
Oh,
can
okay.
link it in
Well,
the
yeah,
Google Meet.
please do.
Yeah, and like related to that question, I think it's having the boilerplate will help you think a lot more clearly because
Okay.
or understanding the common patterns and having the boilerplate in your head. Because imagine you're doing a coding interview and using a new language and you have to think about every single decision on because you're not familiar with the language, but you're familiar with this language, so you don't have to think about that. So it's you just need the more practice you get and the more things that are second nature, then it just clears your brain and clears your mind for the other parts of the problem, like how to actually solve this. And you should be able to think of the solution and then whatever idea comes into your head, be able to implement that without
Okay.
thinking. So the only thing you're focused on in the interview is actually solving the problem, not like, oh, how do I do a DFS correctly? How do I
Right.
do
Right.
this in Python or Java? How do I fix this type? Because every decision is going to slow you down and cause fatigue. And by the end of the 20, 30 minutes, you're going to be super slow and
Yeah,
fatigued.
Right.
if you don't know the language or the like data structures and stuff, plus you don't know the algorithm, it's gonna be like impossible.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Like really quickly? Could we like run through like all the boilerplates? Is there's only like 10 or 15, right? Or is there more?
I could send you a link. There's on LeetCode,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
link. There's a
Okay.
coding
Because it's
pattern
just like
template link. Yeah,
okay.
do you
Yeah.
have
Because
premium? I'll send it in the
Yeah,
chat
I
right
do.
now.
I do. I do. Because I've seen like YouTube videos. It's like, oh, like all the like 8 data structures or like algorithms you need to like ace your next coding interview, something like that. And then, but I feel like there's always more than like what they list out. It's like not comprehensive. So
I mean, those 8 will get you 80%, 90% of coding interviews. I
okay,
would say those 8 you should be able to just write out in 10 seconds.
right. It's like BFS, DFS, binary search, sliding window, 2 pointers, stuff like that.
Post order, in order, pre order.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've done enough to where I don't think I even looked through this stuff. I've just done so many that it's like second, like automatic for me, I guess.
Yeah. How many questions have you solved?
Like 1700.
1,700.
Yeah.
Holy, that's
So
that's a lot of questions.
yeah. And I also practice harder than like what almost every company asks. So then yeah, if I get like a medium, I can figure it out like almost instantly.
Yeah, honestly, you should just push yourself because if you already done 400, focus on pushing yourself even harder questions.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think the number matters. I think it's more difficulty. I think the number is like irrelevant.
Right. I think yeah, at some point it's like the questions is like there's only like it just comes down to like how fast you can type or something, right? And then it's like
I mean, you're never like well, so the other thing is you pick Java, so Java does put you at a disadvantage. Like I did
Yeah.
my stuff in Java. You got to be really fast.
Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fast.
I can code in Python too, but it's just it just doesn't come to me as like quick because I've been coding in Java since I was like in 8th grade or something. So
I picked up Java last year in like May, and I just switched. So I think I
Python?
practiced. No. I practiced Java for like 4 months, and then I just did on-sites in Java. I did Python before.
Oh, really? But isn't Python like definitely the easiest language to code interview?
I think Java helped me with like code structure and code quality. Plus, it actually has stuff that Python doesn't, like tree map and tree set and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
I think either one's totally fine. I think Python is
Right.
easier. So most people
Yeah.
actually fail in Java. Everyone we interviewed for my job in Java failed. So,
Really?
Low
Okay,
key,
well.
low key. I don't know. Last time I passed someone in Java.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Most people
maybe
fail. So.
I'll let you know how it goes. It's in 10 days, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so-
worst case, like, you know, if you fail and you still like learn these things, then you can apply this to like the next one. So it's not like it's wasted knowledge or whatever.
Yeah. I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah, don't fail.
Yeah, don't fail.
Hopefully this isn't recorded, but I'm actually working right now, so but it's just better jobs and stuff.
Nice.
So it's like good to I have like a failsafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this call's about to end in like 2 minutes. So
Yeah,
catch
sounds
you
good.
later.
All right, good luck.
Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Mods in the building. Yo, holy crap. Alpha, we're going crazy on that guy. Holy. He double teamed him, no diddy. Yeah, you'll get it. He'll get it if he's good enough, honestly. But he's focused. He has to focus on a lot of too many things at once in order to solve it. Like he has a bit of shaky foundation. 2 hour video. I'm still dropping that. I might because I was doing a commentary over it. Put you in next. Alpha, what do you think though? That was kind of fun. Both giving the advice at the end gives them multiple perspectives. Of course, you got to give them harsh feedback. Yeah, that was way too long. I think we could have cut it short. We could have cut it short on the first question because it was going in circles. And the second question is like, nah, yeah. That's the one thing about the, yeah. the more and more I kept doing these, I got more impatient, and I just started limiting it to like 20 to 25 minutes, because it's not like I'm actually gonna give them a job or not. I just want to see how they do on the, like, how good they're able to figure out what the actual answer is. Yeah, it's like also where they weren't making progress. So, for example, yeah, no, I think they didn't. They've the thing is, Alpha, is they've done enough questions where it's not really about the number of questions. So once you do 400 questions, you've done so many questions already. You really just need to go back and study some of the fundamentals and make sure you understand. And yeah, 22 hard, but still, you still have some hard. Apple one gets people. That's a good one. It's a fun one. I don't get why it's that difficult though. But it gets people because I think people aren't used to it. That's why, Alpha, what you're saying is just ask anything outside of Necode 150, and then they get cooked because people are so used to working on the same problems over and over. So that's the funny part. Yeah, we're gonna solve some TLE eliminators. When's the next contest? Damn, Alpha, you're gonna have to edit it now, huh? I've never touched Nico 150 in my life. What's his Windows manager? What do you mean by that? Bro, just drop the whole thing. Why don't you just drop the whole thing? Why do you need to edit it? You already have so many other ones. You can drop it, and if you want to edit it some other time in the future, you can edit it. But why don't you just drop it? Yeah, just drop the whole thing. Add chapters. Drop the whole thing and add chapters, and let it get picked up by the, like, it's gonna get indexed. Just let Google do its thing with the recommendations. All that content is indexed, and it might pop out in the search, so there's no point in cutting anything out, especially the last part when we were giving him a lot of advice. That was thorough advice. I'm pretty sure that's the kind of advice that will change someone's trajectory, especially he already did 400 questions and was at that level. He really needs to, he's gonna know to lock in and work on some harder questions. No, Alpha, the advice was probably only 30 to 40 minutes. The He actually went an hour 10, hour 20 on just the actual question. Okay, what's today? Monday. Yeah. This one's so funny. This one is hilarious. I love asking this question too. I mean, it's low key. If the acceptance rate is 44%, it's a hard question because most people fail. Like, if it's an easy question, if it's a medium, it usually gets like 52% acceptance rate. Yo, when's the next contest? What is today? January 19th. So we have Code Chef. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll do Code Chef. But then there's the week Div 2. I don't know if I want to do Div 2. I think I'm just going to do Div 3 on Sunday. And maybe I'll try Code Chef. Or I'll just study like math and stuff up until here. At Coder, 4 a.m. Dude, that's way too early for me. So I might just do this contest and then this contest. I just been spamming contests. No, I probably done like 10 contests in the last month. Okay, are they? I might do them then. I've never signed up for this. So how do you even sign up for this? Why does it look so weird? So how does it work? What are the different divs? Yo, chat, my contest rating is 936 now, so it's starting to go up. So I think working on like 1,000 to 1,100 elo is good. I can ignore 800 to 900. What the hell is this monsters one? Oh, okay, I remember this. This is the one we were working for on. Yeah, maybe I'll do ad coder is too early though. And this is Japanese company, right? Or Japanese. Yeah, I'm only interested in beginner right now. Okay, I see. Yeah, I'm gonna get into this. This looks fun. We're gonna study more Codeforces, but we just sat in for 2 hours real quick. We need to take a quick breather. That was long. Alpha, how are you feeling after that? Yeah, that's the one thing. Doing those mock interviews and doing like 8 in a row in a day, I was so tired. But honestly, it really depends on how the candidate does. If the candidate does really good, it gives me a lot of energy for the next one. If the candidate doesn't do good at all, it drains my energy. Even when I'm in at my job, like doing the ones at work. Okay, we're gonna try to. We'll just do a couple Code Forces questions, then we'll call it. But let me take a quick break. We looked at this one last one, but we're just gonna finish it. Then we're gonna do ski resort, and then I think we'll be good. But Alpha, it was more fun for me just watching because I was like doing random stuff on the side too. I didn't have to focus too hard. But you give really good feedback. You give really good feedback. Super in-depth feedback. You're actually really good at doing the mocks. Yeah, you're good at it. I don't know how the thing with me is I zone out during the mocks. So half the time I'm not even paying attention what the candidate is doing. Oh, I see. Yeah, you kind of really need to be locked in order to to give proper feedback. All right, gonna take a quick break. Then we'll be right back. If they bomb, you know it's over in 10 minutes, and you just yeah. Start doing some other stuff. Start answering Slack. But what if they just come back from 3-1? Be right back. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Bro, I can't believe they took back that question. Why'd they take back that question? Crazy. Why would they take back this question? What's so slow about this? This as this. Codeforces editorials are actually straight trash. Like, what even is this? Okay, whenever we don't have to update, when a reset occurs, we don't have to update all the elements at once. Keep track of the last reset along with the last time an element has been modified. Your chat GPT says, oh, okay, it's not over one. You're building lists just to parse for element column. No way. See if that speeds it up. This is not O1. Yo, Farzan, what's up, man? Yo, they took back on one of the last contests, they took back D, but we still were able to gain like 200 elo or 185, so we're almost making out of newbie. We're so close to basically I got hacked. But I don't see why I think they're saying my solution is slow because of this or either this extra join here. But why is that doing double work here? Doesn't even make sense. I got hacked. I got hacked on my first contest already. I don't think it's by solution though. I don't think it's I didn't know that they could I thought hacking means that they'll hack to see if you got it wrong, not that it's not optimal. So I'm a bit confused. And actually, we could just I didn't know this PyPy was gonna be way faster. Run, run. I wonder how they run this on the background. Oh, time limit exceeded on 10. Let's see what 10 even is. Then like how do we optimize this further? Look at this mission. What's test case 10? See test details. What? What even is this test case? What? Modifications. I have no idea what's going on there. How do I copy the test? Okay, what did... Oh, okay. Oh, this is even more complicated than... Send this whole contest 2 to 3 years Dagestan and forget? What do you mean by that? It's gonna take them that long? Or are they gonna solve that contest? Well, I see. There's an even more optimal solution where... Man, what? Oh, okay, I see. So this is kind of... That's kind of crazy. What are you working on? You're working on Salesforce at work? You're working at Salesforce during... Holy. Why? I didn't even think of this solution. This is crazy. Index. So for third. We're gonna increase. Yeah, we're getting cracked this year. Pause. Damn, this code is kind of cooked. What? Oh yeah, because I guess we have to keep creating a default dict every time. Did you solve this? Actually crazy. Raccoon, you could solve this, man. You got this. You could solve this. I'm gonna reset plus equals 1. Initial array. Array at the certain index equals init array at this specific index. Done. If the last reset of I is less than resets, I don't even get how this makes it that much faster, but the hell? 121. This was on the Codeforces contest. I'll link it in the. It's called Out of Memory. So it's kind of hard. Oh, I need to reset here. If check the last index here. If last reset of index. Something like that. What? It's simple simulation TLEs because when we need to reset the array, it breaks. Like when we need to reset the array, it's too slow. So I tried to do like lazy deletion. I'm essentially doing a lazy deletion, but still kind of slow. Oh, we only need to last reset here. Then we increase the index by delta. Yo, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Thanks for the 5 gifted. I got a soundboard, so I gotta find a good sound for when someone gives a dono. But appreciate you, man. Here you go. I hope you blow up too. Oh, a little logic error right there. No idea, man. I'm new to this streaming stuff. What? Oh no. I don't even know. Can't you handle? Hmm? If I do array equals original array, but then we'll modify the original array. So like that will work for one iteration, but if it has to do it multiple times, then it's not gonna work. No, I'm not planning a job hop. I'm living good right now. I'm trying to get good at Codeforces. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, you should stay at your first role at least like 20, or sorry, at least like 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. So second round. Okay, I'm getting close. Yeah, Alex, the reason that's slow is because if you need to reset it, it's gonna TLE. So you need to reset it in a very smart way. Dude, this agent is so annoying. Get this agent out of my face. Oh, you're gonna have to do this already. Not on Neovim. Um, what's happening? Why did it pause? Why did I have to click one more time? Okay, I think I fixed it. Man, this is a long journey. This is to get good at Codeforces. It's not going to be overnight. But I think this makes sense here. Nice. You're able to solve it? Yeah, that one folds people all the time. Try the apples one that we gave that last candidate. Try this one. This is always folds people. Please work. Time limit exceeded again? How? It's because it's default dict? Okay, now I'm getting hit with the limits. It's crazy. You gotta like optimize everything. What's up, bro? Where do you find the energy? Ah, this is fun to me. That's why. I'm actually enjoying this. So instead of using a default dict, we have to just use regular dictionary. Like, I have as much fun doing this as I do, like, playing video games and stuff. The default dict actually handle this? Oh, it got accepted. Okay, the default dictionary is slow. That's crazy. That's crazy. The default dictionary is slow. Interesting. How did it take over 2,000 milliseconds when I used the default dictionary? I need to I need to debug that. Holy, that took forever. Bro, me like I don't know what else would I be doing right now? I could do other stuff too. Like I could be yesterday I went for a long walk. I already went to the gym. I could like sit down and like watch a movie or something, but this is way more engaging for me than watching a movie or Netflix or something. Dude, I have to optimize the crap out of it just to get it. Would be awesome to see you build some projects. Maybe start a what's a OSS project like a open source. Yeah, I'm down. Once I get to a certain rating on Codeforces and Leak Code, I just want to maintain that. So I want to be like a guardian on Leak Code and probably expert on Codeforces. Then I'm good. Then I'm gonna do system design. I'm gonna show how to do like actual development. I might switch into C plus plus. You know, you get some water. Okay, thanks for the advice. Most people in Codeforces uses sorted dicts because normal dictionaries can have hash collisions, and there are test cases designed to make those exceed time limit. Yeah, it's those collisions. Let's see if I can even speed this up even faster. Hint. I haven't used sorted lists too much. Let's see how much faster this goes here. Sebastian, do you do Codeforces too or no? Oh, that's sick. What's your rating? Yeah, I actually enjoy Codeforces. How do you compare? Easy. Yo, Ramen, what's up? Oh, your friend did A to F? Oh, I didn't do. Yeah, I got a lot of them. Okay, fast input as well. Damn, there's so much optimizations. Okay, I'll look into that. Finally, though. Yeah, my rating would have went way higher if that one passed, and then this one I had like a slight logic error. I see. So something like this, something like this. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, like this. Let's see how much faster that makes the code. Can't believe I'm getting hit with the other funny thing is I had to start using PyPy instead of Python. Let me get my rating up though. We going up, down. Okay, I need to learn how to work with sorted sets because I got cooked on the last competition because I didn't know how to use sorted sets. How'd I get cooked? Yeah, I think I get how to solve this. To go and implement it. Oh, you need to use in medium. Yeah, I need to learn that one. There's a lot of things I put off. Yeah, they have sorted sets built in LeetCode. Oh, it's not built in, but in LeetCode they let you use it. Yo, chat, who solved this question during the contest? Yeah, I got to do that. When you did the binary search, did you go from right to left with the pointer and then binary search on this half? Or how did you do it? Well, I guess you choose 4. Like did you move the pointer from like right to left and then binary search on the back half? You have to you pretty much have to go from reverse, right? In order to make it pass. I don't know. I didn't get this question. Did you implement your own binary search or you want? Yeah, yeah. Send me your solution. Or did you use bisect? Yeah, I got cooked here. No, this is binary search. Give me bisect. So let's take the notes. We're gonna take the cost and the capacity. We're gonna sort by capacity. What's the point in studying? So some said, what's the point of studying if we don't even know if our careers are going to be relying on the same skills 5 years from now? Um, I mean, the point of studying is not, it's honestly, people are too concerned on what they want to study instead of just learning how to study in general, learning how to build new skills in general. In this world, you're always going to have to learn new skills. You're always going to have to build new skills, sit down and study and learn things. Don't focus too much on what you're studying. I mean, obviously, it's important to study specific things, but as long as you're able to sit down and study, you'll be able to adjust to what the world throws at you. And I think these skills that I'm learning are foundational skills. I'm not learning some random CSS or random library. I'm kind of learning fundamentals in problem solving, and I think this could be applied regardless. So with a lot of these code forces, I'm learning how to think logically. I'm learning a lot about math, and I'm revisiting a lot of math topics that I haven't touched in years. Yeah, my Google search is ChatGPT. What's pre-sorted zip? AB. Okay. Okay. This is the prefix sum. Okay. Wait. Let me look through this code. Sorting. Okay. Getting the max. Final starts with 0. So this is tracking if we just take the single machine. Like, but how do we when we binary search? How do we know that d plus pre? What's this min I and I dx? What's this for? Minimum of I. No, this min I dix. I get that part. How do we know the how do we know that the max result in pre isn't the machine we already chose? How do you check this case? How do we know that the max result in pre isn't the machine we already chose? That's one thing I was thinking about. What do you mean you can't use dupes? So for line 33 is because you take. Can you explain line 44? Why do we have to take the min? I don't get this part. How does it remove the dupes? Can you give an example specifically? How does it remove the dupes? I don't get this code. Will be I for. I get this I. Sort. My God. Let's see if this works. I guess it works because like less than budget. Because what if I have one? Yo, like the part that I'm trying to figure out right now. Print index, print. Um, oh, this is how we handle duplicates. So, oh, this is a little hack. Yo, what's up? Yo, Canada is always freezing. Last time I was there, I was dying. -20. I was just there for Christmas. Ramen, this is this. I don't get this. 012. Like what? This part is just confusing. Dude, I'm trying to upsolve this question, but this part is confusing. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm trying to do. Don't reuse if we're going. Oh, so we just skip. Oh, I see. This is a little hack. So we could have fixed this. That's why I was saying we could have fixed this moving from right to left. Yo, tens, what's up? And then we don't have to do this part. That's the part I was confused by. The grind is rough. Wait, I don't know. I mean, the grind is going good. Everyone's grinding their math fundamentals is so hilarious. Why'd you decide to do that? Was it because like the other people on the stream we kept talking about it? But the rating is going up. We're gonna break pupil by in a month at least or minimum or worst case. I'm 28. I'm old, bro. Harp, what's up, man? You thought I was 22? I act like a kid sometimes. Oh, you got a quant interview tomorrow. Legend. I don't get this. Minimum of I. Is this how we skip? Bro, I've been working for 5 years. I've been out here for a while. No, I've been working at like various startups. I don't get this min index. I've never had to do this. Dude, my monitor, I have the ghettoest monitor. Dude, it's like a 1080p, not even 4K. Okay, okay, this year I've been buying so many different stuff. Like I dropped so much money on this green screen right behind me to improve that. Like I got this green screen behind me now. Why do we take the minimum machine? Yo, when I was hanging out with the interns once, and they're asked, or well, I was at a lunch, and they're asking, they thought I was an intern. I was like, bro, I literally have way more facial hair than you, and look way older. So they're telling me, yo, go hang out with the interns and convince them you're an intern. That's what they're saying. I was like, hell no. Yo, I'm gonna get more. I have a bunch of sounds coming. I have some funny ones. This is class. I got a bunch. This is gonna be. I'm gonna spam this other one when it comes. This one I'm gonna spam this one. How's it like working at Meta? Do you burn out? It's so competitive. Nah, not. It's not that competitive. Actually, I don't know. I guess it's actually team dependent. Some people are grinding their butt off, but what's people saying on Discord? Oh, yeah. I don't worry. I got that. I got that downloaded. I just gotta put it onto my soundboard. I literally just have this right now. That one is so funny. Could I just down? Oh, I could just download it straight from here. Sick. Thank you. The hell? Crashed all my stuff. Probably. That'd be funny. Dude, I'm still like I'm slow to adopt technologies. I just kind of adopt it slowly. Like I've been streaming for a year and I'm barely adding stuff as we go. Okay, I see. I see. That's so this is the yeah, too much overhead. What's minimum of I? What the? Still tripping me out. Damn, is that NCAA? National championship? It's just like you just get used to it. I used to not be used to it. Who you going for? So we pick a machine and then we get the index. Okay. J is less than index. What's J? No, it's something that I've been building myself, so it has context on me. Where's J? It didn't even talk about J. J. They didn't even introduce J. Okay. J is less than index. Okay. Sure. J is less than I. How do you make sure that's the case? Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I see. Holy. So this is how you make sure it doesn't. Because if we find the index. Okay, I see. Why do you have to say greater than 0? Oh, because of the index. Okay. I'm solving. I see. Okay, I see. I see. I see. I see. You could have also went I minus 1. That'll work too. Yo, I don't get how can we clean this up? Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I could have cleaned this up by like doing the. Yeah. Oh crap! I already been streaming for 4 hours. Okay, I gotta call it. I gotta go do some laundry. I lost track of time. Holy! I lost track of time. Yo, I'll catch y'all in the next stream. Have a good weekend or a good week. That's crazy. I didn't realize I was streaming for 4 hours. All right, I'll catch y'all. Good night. Good night.
This is not my main thing, really I'm a coder. Coffee stains and chains, I am such a loner. San Francisco bases got me slowly taking over. I can't wait to show you that I'm gonna take it over. Lico, beast mode, 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 Lico, beast mode. This is not my main thing, really I'm a coder. Coffee stains and chains, I am such a loner. San Francisco bases got me slowly taking over. I can't wait to show you that I'm gonna take it over. Lico, beast mode, 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 Lico, beast mode.